This is one of the most consequential budgets that I believe that our city has been met with. And I believe there's a pathway forward by challenging these large corporations to pay their fair share.
We are calling for a boycott. We will not pay another cent in property taxes until we see a forensic audit, until we see where our tax dollars are going.
Well, the time continues to crunch towards the end of the month when the city of Chicago has to have a budget passed, and that doesn't seem like it's going to be happening at least anytime soon. And the city council officials going to be meeting today to discuss things. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. Good morning. I'm Greg Bishop with you each and every weekday morning. You can wake up with us here for Illinois in Focus, but you can also get the headlines in your inbox. Go to thecentersquare.com and the Illinois page. You can find these stories and more. So, Chicago mayor revises head tax, and Chicago Flips Red opposes the budget. And you've got the Chicago Flips Red organization pretty vocal, even testifying in Congress. But Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, he's talking about the budget and where they're at with a variety of things. Here he is yesterday talking about the head tax, and in particular how he initially wanted to charge, $25 per person per month for employers over 100, but now he's revising that to employers over 500, and I think 30 some odd dollars a month that they'd have to pay. Here he is talking about that head tax proposal.
Well, first of all, this is not a punishment for having workers, right? Let's keep in mind, you all, this revenue stream was enacted in 1973, all the way up to 2014. Think about Chicago from 1973 to 2014. Can you look outside these windows and see evidence of job killing and people being whacked? In fact, if you look at our economy, it grew substantially under this particular revenue stream. Here's what I can also tell you. When it went away, there's no empirical evidence that somehow it made us more competitive. In fact, when it went away, guess what came in its place? 3 consecutive years of property tax increases, fines, and fees. Over $500 million. There's more evidence that with this revenue stream going away, that working people had to do more. So I appreciate the question, but I'm just saying, if anybody's gotten whacked, it's been working people in this city, right? We have seen a decline in population as a result of these failures. And so what we have done, again, negotiating the details around my values, is to set up a system.
There's a lot there, including him acknowledging that they lost population. It was kind of interesting in the population debate, hearing officials talk about how all of the state of Illinois is not losing population. The Chicago area is not losing population. No, they are losing population. And we've got new estimates that are going to be coming out. Typically, they come out around Christmas time, but checking the U.S. Census, it looks like they're not going to be releasing that set of numbers until January. So we might not get that end-of-year story about population decreases in the state of Illinois. So we may have to wait until January for that, but regardless, so the mayor talking about the revision of his head tax and how he wants to bring it back, and you have the Chicago Flips Red group not too happy about things, and during a news conference yesterday, you have Daniel Carter Walters sharing a clip from the Center Square, and the story in particular was about Byron Sigcho Lopez and Chicago tenants groups looking to subsidize non-citizen migrants rent because, here's Byron Sigcho Lopez talking about that with the Center Square.
Is that we have a lunatic that is creating harm in American cities who don't agree with him. And we need to help people at least to survive this moment. And we also should consider, just like in the pandemic, rental assistance. That's what I've been urging Governor Pritzker, or mayors or county representatives to work together, just as we've done in other crises, to tax the rich, tax the millionaires. There's already a proposal on a surcharge at 3% that will generate $4.5 billion. Massachusetts did it at 4%. They raised $5.6 billion. I think that we could do something similar, and I think everybody agrees. The question is, where's the political will so that we can provide some sort of rental assistance? And I think we also should consider a moratorium on evictions, just given the severity of this economic attack and social attack on our city.
So again, Sigcho Lopez making those comments to one of our contributors at the Center Square, Glenn Menace, and you can read that story again at thecentersquare.com. Chicago Tenant Group calls for eviction moratorium amid ICE raids. Well, Daniel Carter Walters saying that that's not going to happen.
Byron Central Lopez has the nerve to propose taxing the rich, not to give us economic relief, but to fund housing assistance for illegal aliens. Right. Taxing the millionaires and billionaires is not about helping us. It's about funding services for people who broke the law and are now benefiting from our suffering.
So that's a moment from Chicago Flips Red's live stream yesterday, and talking about the city's budget. Now, about the city's budget, of course, they've got until the end of this month to pass something and get it signed by the mayor. But is it possible, if it doesn't have the tax increases that the mayor's looking for, that there's going to be a veto? A question asked the mayor yesterday.
Is there basically
earlier this week?
Is there basically a veto waiting to happen if they present a balanced budget of their own that doesn't include the head tax?
Again, it really depends. If there's another form of progressive revenue that gets at, a balanced budget that ensures that our investments in community safety are protected and secured, that's a budget worth reflecting on, right? I've said this from the very beginning. Find progressive revenue streams that allows for our budget to be balanced, so that we don't continue to sacrifice poor and working people. Doubling garbage fees, coming up with scenarios that have not had any real vetting or a citation that could substantiate or corroborate their particular assertion or claim that's incomplete. And my team was available for nearly 9 hours on the weekend. We were having conversations yesterday. This is what I do all day, every day, nonstop. This is one of the most consequential budgets that I believe that our city has been met with. And I believe there's a pathway forward by challenging these large corporations to pay their fair share.
So again, you got the pay their fair share comment that's pretty persistent with Mayor Brandon Johnson, and also the terms progressive revenue and making the rich pay. And listen, I mean, Chicago's already getting $16 billion into their coffers. $16 billion. Each year. That's what, at least what the mayor's asking for this coming year, and it's got $1 billion deficit in it. So they're trying to find a way to plug that hole. Could it be, increased garbage fees? Could it be this head tax? Could it be increased property taxes? Well, again, Chicago Flips Red holding a news conference yesterday opposing the budget, warning that they're going to go after the seats of aldermen that approve any tax increases, and they're also urging that residents, act.
We are calling for a boycott. We will not pay another cent in property taxes until we see a forensic audit, until we see where our tax dollars are going, and until we see it being spent to help the people who actually live here, to help our children and our families and our neighbors. Just like he said, hands off Chicago. We say hands off our property taxes and hands off our taxes. Right. We need answers. Right. We need transparency. We need to know where every penny of our tax dollars is going. Yeah. And I'm calling on the White House, the DOJ, the FBI to step in and investigate how Brandon Johnson administration is handling these resources.
Will there be a boycott of paying property taxes in Cook County? Be interesting to see how that plays out, and if the words and the heed from Chicago Flips Red makes an imprint on taxpayers in Cook County as a protest against the city budget and increased taxes. All right, it's Illinois in Focus Daily. We'll be watching. You can get updates each and every weekday morning here on YouTube with The Center Square, but also get the headlines in your inbox at thecentersquare.com.